Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl is a fun Smash-like game. I was excited for it to launch, and the game is mostly pretty good. I'm not here to shit on it for being different than Smash Bros. That said, the game feels a bit rushed. Let's leave aside any balance issues and start with blatantly missing or non-functional features. There is no method of saving control setups. You can only assign one button per input, and cannot change how the sticks or D-pad behave. There are few control settings and toggles overall compared to any other game in this genre since Smash Bros. Melee, and it's restrictive and irritating. Personally, I wanted to be able to change how strafe works, how my stick works, and how my D-pad works, as well as assign two buttons to the same input and wasn't able to within the game. On Nintendo Switch, the game remembers how you set up your controller last time, but only remembers for one player, and gives that control setup to every player. Each time you play around, you will need to check your controls unless you use the same controls as everyone else on your console. There's also no tag support, so you can't create a tag and save your controls that way, unlike most modern platform fighters. The PC version of the game saves your control changes better than the Switch version, but the Switch version still has a major issue. The only saving grace is that the controller remapping is quick to use, and I know that because I use it before every game. On Switch, the game kicks and reconnects controllers each time you enter or exit a multiplayer mode, which is great for tournament play, but slows down the already sluggish menus significantly. These menus are actually a lot better on PC, and again, the Switch version is just having a bad time. The load times are forgivable because most Switch games struggle with that, but it adds to the frustration of the slow and frequent controller reconnecting. There are no accessibility options, no random stage select customization, and no ability to save your changes to the rules menu. Other aspects of the game appear rushed to me, but are a bit more subjective. The arcade mode is bare bones, and is the only meaningful single player mode. If you wish to play the game alone, you'll be finding your own fun, because there isn't much depth in the single player options. That means the whole game rests on how much fun you have with your friends and how much you enjoy the underlying mechanics, and some of the underlying mechanics feel a bit undercooked to me. The ground movement in this game feels poorly implemented. While it seems to be a deliberate choice to remove the burst of speed upon beginning a run, known as the dash, it leads to the ground feeling sticky and sluggish. Even wave dashing doesn't quite alleviate the feeling that you'd be better off in the air. It's interesting and different that aerial movement is so enticing and fast in this game, but heightening that feeling by making ground movement bad feels like a trick. They've not given the freedom other games have on the ground, so you feel forced into the air rather than freed by it. In theory, it's fine for the grounded movement to be worse than Smash Bros., but in practice, it just limits your options. The developers apparently committed to working natively with digital inputs, like D-pads. This is a strange restriction to impose with wide-ranging ramifications, both good and bad. It means smash attacks cannot be switched to work like in Smash Bros, where you smash or tilt the stick to produce a smash or tilt, because that wouldn't be possible on a D-pad. That's not a big deal to me, as it was easy to adapt and pretend I was playing with tap smash off. On the other hand, it means walking got removed, which I'm theoretically okay with. I could play a game where you could only dash and run, because that's how I played when I was bad at Smash games, but that isn't what they did. When an enemy is just a smidge away from you, many characters' light attacks will not reach them. You'll want to dash forward, which is not possible, so you'll try to walk briskly forward to reposition, which also isn't possible. Instead, you'll slowly speed up towards your run, and by the time you're in range, it's too late. Walks do not exist in this game. While in Smash Bros. And other platform fighters, walks are fast and responsive, in this game, you can't walk and only can run. Since there's also no initial dash, there's no way to briskly reposition yourself except for wave dashing, which adds more frames to your lag. They've eliminated instant dash attacks possible with the right stick, which is actually not a bad change in my mind, but the lack of a dash makes me wish for a universal burst attack option at least. The real answer here is to jump and air dash forward. Your aerials will hit, and they're quick enough to be meaningful. Grounded attacks are just a mix-up from your aerials in most situations. The reduction of the number of attacks and special moves is fine in my opinion. I don't love it, but I also don't hate it. The issue is that the movement abilities of the characters make your grounded options feel limited, to the point that they almost feel niche. Some characters escape this issue with particularly strong grounded moves, but that doesn't solve the core issue. The grounded moves are inflexible because you don't have enough precision in where you place them. I want to be clear here, I'm not blaming the dev team. They worked hard and made an amazing game with what they were given. Nickelodeon and publisher Game Mill seem to have given them a tight deadline and few funds, which is probably the true cause of many of the missing features. On a stream, Thaddeus Cruz indicated that he knew about many of the problems, but hadn't been able to get them changed before launch. So it's clear that the problem wasn't skill or love for the game, but time. So I find myself asking, Nickelodeon, Game Mill, did you rush this game out the door? I think this game is fun. I can't say if I'll play it at tournaments, especially considering the Switch version has lag problems on certain stages, but I enjoy the game and I'm glad I bought it. I think some of the design choices are really cool, and the game overall isn't crippled by the feeling it was rushed out the door. The thing is, I want to love this game, and I feel like I would be so many steps closer to loving it if I didn't feel like I was stuck to the ground. If the teams at Ludosity and Fairplay Labs fix the controller remapping issues, provide a couple more options for customizing controls, and maybe fix the lag on certain stages in the Switch version, I'll be thrilled. But I can't help but feel the biggest problems with the game aren't intended to be fixed. The terrible grounded movement seems to have been made like that on purpose, seemingly to help newer players. The single player modes aren't that important, but they are lackluster. The lack of control options seems designed to not confuse new players and to rigidly enforce the digital-first control mandate. I'm going to keep playing Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl and give it a fair chance to grow on me, but I wanted to make this video to talk about the bad parts as well. I might still do a review of the game, but I'm not sure anyone needs to be told whether they like it or not. It's an over-the-top game with some flaws and a lot of merits, and that's fine. Let me know what you think of the game in the comments, and subscribe even though the next video will be about something totally different.